Everybody. If you are here live or if you are watching the replay, welcome. I'm so glad you're here. My name is Kissa. Welcome to the Prep Talk live show here from my home office. Every Monday at 12 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, we just come on to this live show. We share about the ups and downs of life, running a food business, being a small business owner, and how to be productive. So if it's your first time, once again, my name is Kissa. I'm a food business entrepreneur and a business coach for fellow food entrepreneurs, and I'm so glad you're here. If you are watching the replay, I'm going to be putting chapter markers in the description below so you can kind of jump from place to place in the video so that you can find the topic that you're specifically working or looking for. And let's just get into it, right? So normally what I do in these live shows is I talk about the past week, how life, business, everything went, the effects that it's going to have on this upcoming week and what I have planned for this upcoming week, and then a specific topic that I want to share with you guys. So last week it was how I use the travel planner template in Notion to kind of customize it for myself and how I personally use it. And then today we're going to be diving into how I prep as an entrepreneur that's about to go on vacation. So I'm going to be answering a few questions in regards to how I prepare and any advice and tips that I might have. That way, when you go on vacation, you can actually relax for the most part and just really enjoy your time while you're on your vacation. So you can recharge, you can kind of put work aside and just really enjoy yourself while you're actually on a break. Anyway, so let's talk about last week. Man, it was a whirlwind. So last week on Saturday, it was my birthday. So I had family over on Saturday and we were kind of preparing all week for that because it's been a really long time since we've had people over for any special occasion. It's been over a year since we've had any get-togethers. And so, we had a lot of work to do to just get the house cleaned up. We wanted to host everyone in the backyard, and it's really hot here. It was so hot last weekend. And so we kind of cleaned up the backyard, moved some of our outdoor furniture around and things like that so that we could really get the space usable. And we bought things like misters, a misting kit so that it could stay relatively cold outside, or not cold, but cooler than the ambient temperature. And then we also cleaned up a little bit in the backyard just to kind of get the space ready for all the guests. And so that's kind of what we were focusing on last week. But on top of that, we were making our announcement that our first wholesale vendor on the business side, our first wholesale vendor was launching our products on their website. And I want to clarify, it's our first bigger wholesale vendor. So it was a really exciting week for us because we were going to basically work with them to launch the products and make sure that, everything is just ready to go. And we wanted to spread the word to our audience and our customers as well. So it was an exciting time, and we were busy pushing that, and it went really, really well. So actually they're practically sold out of everything that they ordered, which was such a surprise. And I'll get more into that when we talk about next week. But it was such good news to know that our products were doing well on their website. So if you want to check out that wholesale grocer, the website is www.saywe.com, and we is spelled WEEE.com. And they're an Asian grocery store online, and you can order products from them. But if you also want to see other wholesalers, some great wholesalers that also carry our products, you can go to our website, and I'll put the link in the description to our website, and you can see all the different retailers that we have throughout the US that sell our products and in the UK. So be sure to check that out. I'll put it in the description below. But yeah, that was kind of what our week looked like. It seems to be that the trend is that the beginning of every month, the first week of every month, is kind of our chance to kind of lay back and do take care of personal things, spend time with family, do that type of thing before the rest of the month gets really hectic with things like pop-ups and just business in general. And so we've been kind of working on just enjoying our time. If that's what life naturally looks like for us, then that's how we want to take advantage, right? Like, if we know that the first week of every month is going to be slow, then let's take some time and take Micah somewhere fun, like a museum, or let's go to the beach, let's go to the park, let's do something special while we have the time to go ahead and do that. So that was last week. I'm trying to look at my calendar and see what else happened last week. I told you guys about the 100-day Ultimate Focus Challenge that I started. And first day was last Thursday, July 8th, for our live call. And it was great. I'm really excited to be part of this 100-day challenge. Like I've mentioned before, if you want to know just kind of a little bit more about it, you can check out last week's video. But yeah, it was our first Thursday call, and it was great. It was just kind of getting back into it, and I'm definitely in a place this quarter and during this 100-day challenge where I'm extremely focused. I know what I'm trying to accomplish, and I've learned a lot about myself since self-love and self-awareness have definitely been it's been a dominant goal for me in this past year. And so I've grown a lot and have learned a lot about myself, which I think has also helped me to set better goals and more realistic goals based on who I am, what I want out of life. And it takes away all of the fluff and all of the things that are not necessary for me to keep my finger on the pulse on. It's not a necessary thing. So it's helped me become more focused, and I'm really excited as to what's going to happen in this next 100 days. I'm already very motivated, and I have my eyes on the prize. So we'll see. I'll definitely be sharing with you guys along the way what happens. I want to apologize for all the toys that you see in the background over here. Micah just went down for his nap. And sorry, I was just checking the baby monitor to make sure he didn't wake up. But he went down for his nap. His sleep regression is almost over, so I'm really happy about that. And he's had a crazy weekend as well, because the main reason, to tell you the truth, that I had a party for my birthday wasn't necessarily for me. It was mostly because, my family hasn't really seen Micah in the last 2 or year and a half ish, hasn't really seen him. And so it was really hard, because a lot of my family was like, man, I want to see him grow up. He's so big already. And so I figured things are opening up here in LA again. More of my family is vaccinated. And so let's get together. And so that they can just see him. And that's basically the main reason why I had a party. It wasn't necessarily for me. It was just to serve food, have fun, and, get people around to just be able to be together again. So that was really nice. What else happened last week? Oh, I had a few coaching calls, a few coaching sessions, which was really exciting. I had great conversations with 2 people in specific that I'm just really excited for their businesses, and I'm excited for the relationship that we're creating. And just to be part of their journey is going to be really exciting. So I'm excited for that too. And that's pretty much all that happened last week. We had a pop-up scheduled actually for July 11th, and it didn't end up happening because we're going to talk more about pop-ups in regards to what's going to happen this week. But a lot of things I've noticed are starting to change because things are opening up here in LA. And it was a lot easier even in the last 2 months, like in June and in May, because I think we all figured out how to operate and not necessarily thrive for everyone, but we figured out how to operate and thrive amidst a pandemic. We figured out what we felt was good for us, but was still safe, and safe for our family, safe for our team, and safe for our customers. And so now that things are opening up, we're back at this phase where we're starting to kind of iron out details, considering this rollout of our economy and how everything, at least here in LA, is opening up, and how are we going to deal with that. So it's one of those things where it's kind of like, it's an adjustment, and it's kind of annoying, but it's a good thing. And it's definitely not something that I am ungrateful for. I'm glad that things are starting to get back to normal and things like that. But, because of that, our schedules get messed up. Normally we would have a pop-up every second Sunday of the month, and that second Sunday for the month of July would have been yesterday, July 11th. But because of, like I said, things opening up, more events are coming back, restaurants are opening, there's a bunch of things happening. Our event organizers are also trying to change things up and make things work based on their audience. And so we have to work with the event organizers to make sure that it's a relationship and a schedule that works and is beneficial for all parties. And so if it's beneficial for the most of the people that participate in the pop-ups, but it's not beneficial for us, then we're not going to continue to do it. No hard feelings. It's just the fact of the matter, right? And so I think that's something that we're going through right now. And one thing that I want to mention is like, no hard feelings. That, I think, is the most important thing to remember. It's like everyone has their own businesses that they're trying to run, and everyone's got to do what they got to do, and it's not personal. It's honestly just as long as it's beneficial. So we are going to continue the pop-ups that we have, had to cancel. We're going to continue them on the days that the event organizers have changed to, but starting in August. So we're going to have, might as well, we're talking about future plans anyway. Let's jump into this week. So we have a pop-up, and we're actually going to be trying an evening pop-up instead of a brunch pop-up this coming Friday, July 16th. And so because of that, we have 2 less days to plan out what we're going to serve. Also, since we're not serving brunch food and we're going to be serving more dinner style food, we have to kind of reconfigure what we're going to be selling and things like that. And so those kind of logistic things are the things that I definitely try to plan out and think about ahead of time. But it's super hard. It's hard to do that when there's a lot of other things that are kind of happening in the background. So there is a pop-up Friday, July 16th. It's going to be from 5 p.m. to 9 p.m. And it's going to be at our friends at Cafe Aficionado in Northridge. So we have to plan for that. And since it's kind of a different menu, we've got to think about what we're going to be serving. We're definitely going to be serving pastries. That's a no-brainer. We're going to actually be serving halo halo, which is cool. That's something that we don't normally serve at the pop-ups. And then I think Charlie's going to think of a savory dish to also serve as well. Okay. This week is jam-packed, and honestly, this is probably the hardest I've worked for a while, and I'm definitely spoiled because of the pandemic. There's just a lot happening, which is great, but it's also very overwhelming, and it's kind of a lot. So on the business side of things, as I mentioned, saywe.com, their launch of our products went really, really well. I think none of us really anticipated how fast things were going to sell out, and they sold out a product. So they contacted me at the end of last week and was like, we need more product. So I said, okay, give us some time, we can get you more product by Wednesday. So we are in major production mode now. Charlie is actually at our facility with the fam, and they are starting production today. They'll be finishing production tomorrow, and then we're going to be working on labeling and packaging and boxing Tuesday night so that we could deliver on Wednesday. So it's really, really tight. They wanted to have it by July 14th. So, you know, we said yes, and we're going to move forward with it. On Thursday, we're going to be having our regular empanada delivery, and our normal empanada delivery is Wednesdays, but because we have this big order, we're actually going to be delivering and replenishing on Thursday. And then Thursday, Micah and I are getting a haircut. We're getting a haircut in preparation for Hawaii, because we're leaving for Hawaii in 2 weeks. We're leaving for Hawaii in 2 weeks, guys. So I wanted Micah to get a haircut because he's the ring bearer at my brother-in-law's, or he's one of the ring bearers at my brother-in-law's wedding. And I didn't want him to have a fresh cut. I didn't want to have a fresh haircut. I wanted to give it a few weeks to kind of grow out a little bit. So we're going to be doing that on Thursday morning. And then we've got to do empanadas. And then we have to deliver it on Thursday. So that's that. And then my 100-day Ultimate Focus Challenge group coaching call is that day at 4 p.m. So it's going to be a full week, because after that, we've got to go to Cafe Aficionado on Friday. Hi, we got to go to Cafe Aficionado on Friday to do our pop-up. So it's basically going to be work nonstop. I'm fully booked. I don't have any coaching calls this week because I really don't think that I'm going to be able to squeeze one in, even if I wanted to, because we're going to be working around the clock. And then on Saturday, we have an amazing event that we're participating in. My friends and my fam at In Her Purpose, this book that I was honored to be part of, they are throwing a charity event with a company called Alba Legacy. And Joanna Alba, she is a talented designer, and she makes custom suits for tons of pro athletes. She's just an amazing person. And they're doing a charity fashion show that benefits the Big Brothers Big Sisters Club of LA. And so it's gonna be so much fun. We're donating pastry, and we're actually catering for them, and we're expecting 300 people to attend. So we have a lot of people to feed on Saturday, so we have tons to do. It's not even funny. Like, we are jam packed this week. And I think, honestly, if we didn't have that last minute order from our wholesale, it would have been fine. It would have been doable. It would have been a lot already, but it wouldn't have been as stressful. But it is what it is, right? So sometimes you got to turn up the heat, and you got to get ready and really dig and go deep on this, and like pull all the energy that you possibly can have out and make it happen. Definitely not easy this week, but we're gonna make it through. And then on Sunday, we finally have a breather. So on Sunday, we're gonna be spending time with family again, and so we just got to get through to Saturday. That's what I keep telling myself. And being in the restaurant industry and owning a restaurant, this would have been the norm, and maybe even more work if we had a restaurant. It's just getting back into the swing of normal things is what makes this a little bit more difficult and a little bit more challenging. But I remember, this brings me back to those days where, you know, working 6 days a week with 1 day off. That's just what it was. And that was my life for a long time, 12 plus years. That's what my life looked like. If I wasn't working 6 days a week, I was working 7 days a week. And so I remember that life. And now I have the luxury to only do it once a month, if that, and have to exert this much energy and put this much work in this way once every once in a while. And so I'm definitely blessed, and I'm so grateful that I have the opportunity to kind of turn up the heat, because I do miss that adrenaline rush of just having so much on the plate, but then also having the chance to slow down and really just relax and have a good steady flow of work as well. So this week, like I said, is super jam-packed. Definitely going to need affirmations from Affirmation Darling. So let's go ahead and do that. So Affirmation Darling makes these amazing cards, and I share them with you guys. I think this is probably the 4th time we've done it already, which is cool. Last week's affirmation, if you guys don't remember, was this one. It says, I'm an evolutionary creative, discovering and developing my creativity. That was a good one. So let's see what this week's affirmation is. So I'm gonna just shuffle the cards a little bit, move them around. And what's really cool is each one is completely different. All the artwork is different on all of the affirmations. But on top of that, they have a little guided directions on how to use the card. So I used to pick one every day, but I think picking one with you guys every week is kind of fun. That way we can go through it together. But I leave the card at my desk, and I have it right in front so that whenever I sit at my desk, it is here and I can see it and read it. And then I also put it into my Notion setup on my Kissa HQ page. That way I can see it all the time. Okay, so let's see what this week's affirmation is. It says, I have the power to change my mood and the ability to uplift my spirit. I have the power to change my mood and the ability to uplift my spirit. Really, really nice. I love the design of these cards, honestly. They're so pretty. They're really sturdy because they're laminated with a hard plastic. And then, they have, like I said, directions on the back on how you can use this card. And a lot of it is encouragement. Like the first thing on the back of this card, it says, if you're a human, it is 100% normal to have mood swings. Take a note of the triggers and the events that led to the shift in your mood. So there's really good directive on just how to make affirmations advantageous for you. And I'm learning about that. I'm not an expert on affirmations or anything like that, but I'm learning, and it's different. It's an adjustment, but it's definitely something that makes me feel good. So it's kind of fun to share with you guys. So it's something I'm going to definitely continue to do for at least the foreseeable future. All right. So that is this week, y'all. Let's talk about vacation. Now, vacation is happening in 2 weeks. We are leaving for vacation for Hawaii on August 1st. And so even though we're leaving in the evening, I basically look at it as August 1st is a wash. Nothing's going to get done on August 1st. We're basically already on vacation mode starting August 1st. And so there's a lot to get done, which is why you can see how full my calendar is right now. I just told you Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. I have tons of work to do. Not even just operational back-end things, but actual product creation and actual in the trenches of food prep and all of that stuff. It's going to be non-stop until Saturday evening, I can guess. So it's just going to be one of those weeks. And the reason why, because don't forget, you can say no to a lot of this stuff. You could say no. I could have said no to the purchase order and said, so sorry, we're already booked this week. We can get you the product next week. But it's a choice. And because I know we're going on vacation, we're going to be gone for almost 2 weeks, we need to put in the work now so that we can really enjoy and not stress about money while we're away. And that's just the reality of what it means as an entrepreneur to go on vacation, right? At least for me, because when I leave, some things just need to get put on pause. When Charlie leaves, some things need to get put on pause. And so we're trying to figure out how to make that work while we're away. When it was a restaurant, it was a different story because we had staff there that could help us. When we're away, the restaurant could keep operating. But now that we've really trimmed down and it's basically just family that's working at this moment, it's one of those things where, we've got to just put in the work so that we have extra, and then that will last us for the time that we're closed while we're on vacation. So that's just how things work. That's just how our reality has played out, and it's totally okay with me. I look at it as I'm just putting in overtime so that I can take the vacation that I want. So there are a few things that were asked when I was talking about vacations, and so I thought I would kind of go over that now. One of the questions was, can I still make money while I'm away? Absolutely, you can. You just have to put things in place so that you can do that. For example, you can do, and this leads to the second question into what do I need to do to prepare before I leave? The first thing you want to know is you need to just figure out the logistics of how long you're going to be gone, and just say, okay, if it's just a few days, if it's like 3 or 4 days, you could still keep your online store on if you have an online store, or you can take pre-orders, and you can still accept pre-orders with prepayment or whatever it is while you're away. Just make sure you let people know that you're going to be gone for 3 or 4 days, and orders will begin pickup on the day that you set. So say you leave for vacation this Friday, July 16th, and you're coming back on Sunday, July 18th. Great. So you could still accept pre-orders. You could still accept orders. Not a problem. And then just say that you will have, pickups or deliveries available as early as July 20, because you might need a day to bake or cook or create product or whatever it is. So just think about what's feasible for you and communicate that clearly with your customers. For the most part, people are going to be super understanding. And if not, then not, And so that's what we plan on doing. You can definitely still make money while you're away. That's the beauty of having an online business. Even if you have a brick and mortar, or even if you only do pop-ups, the beauty of having having an online business is the fact that you could still accept transactions while you're away, right? You would just fulfill them when you return. More on preparing before you leave. This goes into what this week is looking like, right? It's just a reminder that you have to put in a little more work before you leave, and you probably have to put in a little more work when you return. That's just the reality if you're running a solopreneur business or a family business where everyone's going to be away. What's lucky for us is that my aunt and my uncle are our business partners. So when they're away, we take over, and when we're away, they take over. So what's going to happen is while we're away, my aunt's going to continue baking. She's going to continue to put product into the store, and then we're going to fulfill them. We're going to fulfill them starting on the 5th of August. So we'll be gone on the 1st. My entire family, aside from my aunt and uncle, are going to be going to Hawaii, and then my dad returns on the 5th. So he'll be able to start shipping orders again on the 6th. And my intention is to just have an automatic responder and a listing on the website that says, all orders to be shipped are going to be processed on the 6th. So if you place your order now, our store is actually going to be unavailable for pickups until the 6th of August. And so if that's not going to be something that works for them, order again next time. And so that's what we're planning to do, and we're planning to put it on the main page of the website. That way everyone knows what the situation is. Okay, another question I got is it possible to really take time off and focus on vacation? Whew, that's a big one. Let me see here. Someone is just bombing the Ninong's phone number. They are like calling nonstop, and I'm on this live show, so I'm gonna try and not get distracted by it. Sorry. Okay. Is it possible to really take time off and focus on vacation? That's a good question. I want to say yes. I really do. I want to say yes. However, for me, because we're running our business super lean. Like I said, it's just family right now. I know I'm not going to be able to 100% just leave my iPad or my laptop behind. That's just not going to be a possibility for me. So I know I'm going to be working while I'm in Hawaii, but very, very little, and only when necessary. So a lot of the things my aunt is going to take over, like putting in orders for raw goods, stuff like that, is going to be put on her. And it's going to be one of those things where it's oh my goodness, it's going to be one of those things where it has to be sorry, hold on. I have to text this to Charlie. It's exactly one of these things. Sorry. It's just one of those things, you know, you're a small business. That's just what comes with the territory. There are going to be fires while you're away. You're going to have to be able to answer your phone at some point, but you don't have to have your finger on the pulse the whole time. It's not a necessary thing where it's like a worry or a concern, because you did your best to cover all your bases prior to. So if you're preparing to leave just like I am, I'm thinking about everything possible. I'm going to be emailing all of our wholesalers to let them know that we're going to be out of town and we are not accepting any wholesale orders while we are away. So I'm going to let them know of that. Another thing is I'm going to be putting, like I said, that main header on our online store so that our regular customers know that we are going to be away and not accepting orders from the 1st to the 6th. And they're only available for pickup as soon as the 6th. There's also things that I'm going to have prepared, like things like, what is going to be an email responder on our email, like if people are going to be sending an email. I'm going to be putting on there that they can, we're not going to be reachable by phone, but if they send an email, we'll be checking it periodically and we'll be trying to respond as soon as possible. I think the main thing that needs to happen is the clear communication to everyone involved, how it's going to affect them while you're away. I think that's the main thing that people need to know. So it's really important that you just articulate that and let people know that you're going to be gone on vacation, and they have to understand that. I think we as small business owners tend to also get this feeling of guilt by going away for a little while. And you know what? You shouldn't. You shouldn't feel guilty, because everyone deserves rest. Everyone deserves a vacation. And knowing you, if you're a small business owner, you work really, really hard. And so if you do, just make sure you fulfill all those obligations, and then just enjoy yourself. Take the time. Everything else is not necessary. And anything else that comes up in the interim, don't worry about it, because as long as your expenses are paid, the bills that are due are paid, and everything after is when you return, and all of the orders, there's no overlap, there's no miscommunication, you've covered your bases, there's nothing that you need to worry about. Anything that comes up in the interim, don't stress about it. Don't stress about it at all. And then the last question I got is, what's the best way to communicate to my customers that I need a break? That's a good question. And I think that's something that I've already gone over. It's mostly just making sure everywhere that your customers find you, social media, YouTube, your website, your email newsletter, your vacation, your email vacation autoresponder, your voicemail box when they call you, everything, any way that your customers can contact you, make sure you have something there that says, we are closed from this day to this day, and we will be returning on this day. So just make sure that they know that, and you've covered all your bases. Oh, and then if you're a brick and mortar, or if you use things like Google Maps or Yelp or anything like that, make sure you update that as well. Postmates, Grubhub, Uber Eats, that type of thing. Make sure everything's updated. Cover all those bases. That way, there's no fires that happen while you're away because you forgot to turn off your delivery service, and they can't they can't figure out why their orders aren't being fulfilled. So as long as you cover your bases and you communicate to everyone that you'll be gone, you shouldn't have any problems. And I can tell you, for the most part, like 98% of our audience, when I said we were going to be going to Hawaii, people were like, that's great, you deserve a break. And I was so thankful for that, because we're always so used to just being at the mercy of our customers, and that's, to look at it that way is not a good thing. We have to remember that our customers are valued people that we appreciate and we love, but also we are of value to them as well, right? There's a mutual benefit that is happening on both ends, for the customer's behalf and for the business's behalf. And so it was really nice to get people commenting back and understanding that we were going on vacation and saying that we deserved it, because a lot of times I forget that I do deserve a vacation and I do deserve to take a break, because sometimes I just keep thinking, no, I need to be here, I need to be present, I need to focus on the customers and making sure that their orders are getting fulfilled and everything's okay, and yada 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 and all that stuff. But at the same time, I also realized if I don't rest, I'm going to burn out, and I'm not going to want to continue doing this anymore. And I'm going to eventually resent people for not being able to take the rest that I need to take. And that's no good place to operate from either. It's great that you want to be there for your customers. It's great that I want to do that. However, I need to break that cycle of thinking and understand that I need to recharge, so that when I do serve my customers, I'm serving from a place of fullness. And I think I learned that most from being a mom. I've heard that term, I've heard people talk about it and say it, and it's a quote, and I see it everywhere. And I used to think that I had that balance, and I thought that I did, but I truly didn't, because I realized that all I do is think about work, think about business, think about other things, and I never really take enough time to do internal work and improve myself. And I realized it all starts with me. My business starts with me. I'm a big part of my own business, and it starts with my self-improvement. And if I improve, everything around me will improve. And it's so easy to just get to the heart or it's so much harder to get to the heart of it. And it's much easier to just look outside and say, well, if this would happen, then I'll get better. If this would happen, things would be easier. It's easier to go that route and say and try and find the source of your relief or your lack of stress on other things. It's much harder to look at the core of it and figure out what's really causing all the branches of issues. And I realized that it started with me. And I know that's such an easy answer, but I never really understood it until now. And so I'm so glad that I finally did. I'm so glad that I finally came to that realization that, hey, if I just do the work on myself, then instead of tackling one problem at a time, a lot of problems got solved at once. And that concept was very interesting in the sense of like, that morbid saying of killing two birds with one stone. It's like I was able to tackle a bunch of things instead of just trying to do them one at a time. It takes so much more time to do it that way, to try and tackle and then tackle and then tackle. Whereas if you kill the mothership first, it takes out everything else, right? So that was a big eye-opener for me. And so I'm really excited actually to take this vacation with a different mindset, with a more free mindset, with a more enabled mindset, that I am allowed to take this vacation and I can enjoy it, and it's gonna be good and it's gonna be fun. And we actually have some possible, work things that we're going to take care of while we're there, but it's not going to be the dominating aspect of our vacation most of our time. In fact, probably 90% of our time is going to be focused on being with family, enjoying our time on the island, and then even taking time, because we're staying way past the rest of our family, and so we're going to be able to enjoy our own intimate family vacation after everyone's gone. So that's going to be really exciting. And I think the guilt aspect of that is no longer a part of me anymore, at least not for this one. Who knows? I mean, it might be different in the future if things get busier or what have you, but at this very moment, I know that from past experience, the best thing for me to do is prepare as best as I can for the fact that I'm leaving, and then accept the fact that I'm leaving. I'm really truly leaving, and that's what I want. And I want to be able to recharge and truly not be working in the business while I'm on vacation. And I've grown up in an environment where I experienced that, where my mom would go on our yearly family vacation and she would have her date book with her, and she would be taking business calls and she'd be taking client calls and trying to schedule things while she's away. And it's something that I remembered that I really resented about our family vacations. I have this right next to me, actually. I'm looking at it right now. I have this black book that she had that basically had all her client information in there, and she took it everywhere she went, including vacations. And whenever I saw that black book on vacations, I knew. I was like, oh, she's pulling out the black book. That means she's gonna work. And it wasn't like she was working only in the morning for a little while. She would work in the morning while we were having breakfast. She would be in the other room making calls. And then when we got back from something, she would get right back in front of her black book and start making more calls. When she had a cell phone, she would be taking calls while we were on tours, and she would be on her phone while we were doing stuff. And I just remember thinking, you're not even here, Mom. You might as well just go back home. Why are we even here? Because you're not actually vacationing, you're working. And I definitely don't want to do that, because it's something that I took away, and I actually resented her work for it. And it made me, as I was growing up, it made me not want to be an entrepreneur, because I was like, if I can't spend time with my family when I'm on vacation, why would I even want to be an entrepreneur? That sounds like it sucks. It doesn't sound like fun at all. And look at me, here I am, and I'm an entrepreneur. But I've learned from that, and I realized, okay, if I need to do work, then it's gotta be when Micah's asleep already, and we're not doing any more activities, we're not spending time together, and there's downtime. or in the morning, I'll wake up early before everyone wakes up so that I can get work done. And that's how I'm planning for it to be. I don't want to check my email and respond to them while I'm on the beach. That's not happening while I'm there. I'm going to be truly either reading a book, listening to a podcast, listening to music, enjoying the sound of the waves, whatever it may be. That's what I'm going to be doing. I'm definitely not going to be doing work when I could be doing something else. If there's nothing else to do and there are things that I need to get done, and I choose that I want to wake up earlier or stay up a little later so that I can do it while my family is not doing activities or Micah's not awake, then that's what's going to happen, and that's when I'm going to work. And that's just how it's going to be. That's the reality of it, and I'm totally, finally, thank God, 100% content with that decision, and I am standing firm in it, and you guys can hold me accountable. So that being said, I mean, while I'm away, we're not going to have this live show. We're going to be gone. Let's look here. We're not going to have a live show on August 3rd or August 10th because we're going to be in Hawaii still. So we're going to have our live show every single week until we leave. So the last live show before we leave will be July 26th. Oh, sorry, I was looking at the wrong one. So our last live show before we leave for vacation is going to be July 26th. There will be no live show August 2nd or August 9th, and the live show will return back on August 16th. So I'm going to put that up and make sure everyone knows, especially in the group coaching community. I'll make sure that you guys know there is no live show on those dates and when the live shows will resume. But otherwise, we're going to just jump back in and start again Mondays, 12 p.m. Pacific time. We're going to do our normal thing. Talk about life, talk about business, and talk about productivity. So thank you guys so much. This was more of a chatty live show. We didn't do any screen shares, but I wanted to do this part 2 because you guys had questions about, I guess, follow-up questions to the travel planner and what we can also do to pre-plan. So I'm glad you guys asked the questions. I'm so happy that I was able to answer them. If you have any more, please feel free to put them in the comments below. I'll do my best to answer all of them. And if I don't know the answer, I'll definitely try and find the answer for you and get that resource for you. You can also check last week's live show if you want to see that video on how I use Notion for travel planning. You can definitely apply what I use into your own setup. So if you use Apple Notes, Google Docs, Evernote, whatever you personally use, you can still apply the same principles into those apps. Or if you're more of an analog person, you can also use the same idea in your either bullet journal or your planner or whatever it is. So it's super versatile and easy. I just show you my setup, which just happens to be in Notion. And then if you guys want to see what else is going on in life throughout the week, or you want to connect until next Monday's show, you can follow me on Instagram at JustKissa. I'll put that down in the description box as well. And like I said, feel free to DM me, put a comment below if you have any questions. I'm more than happy to answer them. But in the meantime, I will see you guys next week, 12 p.m. Monday Pacific time for the Prep Talk live show. Thanks again, guys, and have a wonderful week. See you next week.